All right, good evening. We are coming back from recess for the annual RTM budget meeting. A little feedback. I don't know what time it is at the moment. 6:05. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'll turn it over to the town clerk for roll call.
Okay, Representative Adams. Bailey. Burrell.
Here.
Casper.
Here.
Din Shinbrock.
Here.
DeGraffenwright.
She stepped out, but she'll be back.
Okay. Dutton. Fitzgerald.
Here.
Fritchie. Here. Fox.
Here.
Frickman. Gardner A.
Here.
Gardner M.
Here.
Gibbs. Here. Good.
Here.
Hume.
Here.
Johansson. Kaden.
Here.
Linder. Luck. Massett.
Here.
Matter.
Here.
McElroy.
Here.
Neifeld. Norman.
Here.
Norris. Aubrey.
Here.
Perella. Powers K.
Here.
Powers S.
Here.
Pulaski.
Here.
Swindell.
Here.
Omritz.
Here.
V.C. Williams. Watson.
Here.
Wells.
Here.
Whitney.
Here.
And moderator Humble.
I'm here. 28.
I have,
You got 28?
well, because I counted DeGraffenwright.
Oh, that's
but
right,
she-
yes. So 28 right now, but she will be
28,
back.
She'll be
Yes.
back.
All right, we have a quorum. Call the meeting in quorum. All right, so we have our final evening tonight. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to recognize the quasi-chair of the Public Works Committee. Good to see Representative Dean Shinbrock with us. Hope you're feeling well, as well as the other members that have notified that they were not feeling well. So I'm glad you're back. Also, happy to see Rep. Dutton in person and on this side of the world. That's great. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the meeting minutes that were already semi-presented or a portion presented with the City of Groton Highway and Street, as well as the Groton Long Point Highway and Street. So this meeting's continuing, so Representative Gibbs is going to read the following leftover accounts.
Okay, so. Can you hear me? I'm tall. Okay, so Greg Hanover gave an overview of this year's budget. It was noted that most of the increases this year were due to contractual obligations. Throughout the review of Public Works, questions by representatives were asked and answered. So the first account was 1035 Public Works. Representative Good moved the town council number of $253,238. It was seconded by Representative Fox, and it passed 5-0. Then account 2020 was discussed, the sewer operating fund. Representative Good moved the town council number of $9,028,481, and it was seconded by Representative Fox, and it passed unanimously 5-0. Then we moved on to account 2030, which was the solid waste fund. This is a pass-through account. It was noted that the tipping fee and the trash to energy plant is rising from $67 to $75 a ton. So Representative Good moved the town council number of $1,904,142. This was seconded by Representative Fox, and it passed 5-0 unanimously. Then we went on to account 6040 for the fleet. This account has decreased by 23%, and Representative Gibbs moved the town council number of $1,462,530. It was seconded by Representative Good, and it passed unanimously 5-0. So those were the 4 accounts. The next ones were the CIPs. So first, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Well, hold on for that
Or-
one. If
oh.
you'd like, there's, if we wanted to discuss the accounts that we're dealing with right now in total,
Yeah.
it might
Oh,
be
this is
a,
before we approve the minutes?
yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to combine those 4 accounts, 1035, 2020, 2030, and 6040. So I'll make a motion to combine those to try and pass them for a total of $19,648,391.
Okay, motion was made by Representative Gibbs, seconded by Adams for a motion for $19,648,391. This is for the 4 accounts that we have on our agenda. And as Representative Gibbs has already noted, they were passed by the RTM committee. This was the number that was also passed by the town council and presented by the town manager. I open up discussion on these 4 accounts. Representative Aubrey?
Thank you. I was just wondering why the costs had gone up so much on the vacant school properties. Oh, I'm sorry, it's on page 110, and it's, well, it says Public Works. Just go to 110, and the middle line towards the bottom, yeah, it went from 67 and change up to 82 and change.
Just for clarification, if you're looking, it's page 110 in the book.
Yeah.
It's account number 1035B, vacated school structures. The actual FYE you were claiming is stating is 67,588, and the manager's proposed is 82,115. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. If we can get some clarification on that, please.
Sure. Good evening. Greg Hanover, Director of Public Works. Some of that increase is due to, we heat SB Butler School at the direction of the council to keep it at a very minimum heat. So the price of oil is going up in utilities. And also just, some increase in overtime for some vandalism that we have to respond to at these schools. So that's why the increase is there.
I can't hear you.
The increase in, some vandalism we have to respond to at these schools.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Representative Aubrey, Director Hanover stated that the increases were due to the increased fuel costs to heat the, well, more specifically SB Butler. They're maintaining it at a low temperature, but the cost of fuel has increased, as well as there's been some vandalism at some of these vacated school properties, so they have to go in and fix and remediate whatever it is.
Somebody doesn't agree. Sorry about that.
You still have the floor if you have any other questions.
Yes, it's.
Just the microphone, please.
It doesn't pertain to these line items, but I was curious to how the machine that I objected to last year is going, and has it been downtown Groton cleaning the sidewalks?
Oh, you talk about the MadVac, the little litter vacuum?
Yes.
It's been out. I don't know if it's been downtown. I will check with my guys tomorrow to see.
Gosh,
Yes.
that's what you told me last year.
No, we just got it in like
I know, and
this
I
spring.
said, when you start, will you give me a schedule? Oh, yeah, I'm going to send you one. I'm just breaking you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion on these accounts? Yes, Representative Swindell?
I see we're appropriating $82,000 for vacated school structures, and I'm wondering what the situation is with the vacated structures, especially Groton Heights.
Well, this would go into that number, is that correct? I mean, technically, they're still on the rolls, and they're owned by the town now? Because
Correct, yes.
they've turned it over from the Board of Education, and the town of Groton owns these buildings, whether it's Groton Heights, Pleasant Valley, Mary Morrison as
No, we
well?
don't.
That-
Claude
okay.
Chester.
Not that one yet. Claude Chester
And SB Butler.
and SB Butler. So that's four buildings that the town is having to maintain and hold them instead until other things happen.
Okay, but this has been going on for several years with these buildings, and they have remained vacant. And well, maybe this is not the time to ask about situation there, but I will ask it later. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Aubry?
I just one quick question. Did we keep the heat on in Groton Heights?
No.
So why are we doing it in other buildings?
Butler, because the council directed us to. They do have fire training in there during the week for the fire departments. But we don't keep it on at Groton Heights.
I won't comment. I think it's called Groton.
Any other discussion on the main motion on the floor? Very well, seeing none, the main motion for $19,648,391 for accounts 1035, 2020, 2030, and 6040. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously, 29 to 0.
28.
28, excuse me, I was jumping ahead of myself. 28 to 0. All right. Thank you, Chair Gibbs. Now, if you can head on to the CIPs, and we'll go through those. If you just want to read all those in, and then we'll approve your minutes in total.
Okay. Okay, so, let's see. So the first CIP, CIP 1, roads, A, town pavement management program. Chair Dean Shinbrot moved the town council number of $1.3 million. It was seconded by Representative Fox and passed 5-0 to 0. The second, or CIP 1B, bridge repair. Chair Dean Shinbrot moved the town council number of $100,000, and it was seconded by Representative Gibbs, and it passed unanimously 5 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions. CIP 2, drainage and watershed protection. I guess it's CIP 2A, the culvert rehabilitation. Chair Dean Shinbrot moved the town council number of $319,000. It was seconded by Representative Fox, and it passed unanimously 5-0 to 0. CIP 3 sidewalks. CIP 3A replacement sidewalk construction. Chair Dean Shimbrough moved the town council number of $100,000. It was seconded by Representative Gibbs and passed unanimously 5-0 to 0. CIP 6, public buildings. C, town hall complex. Chair Dean Shimbrough moved the town council number of $235,000. It was seconded by Representative Gibbs and passed unanimously 5-0 to 0. CIP 6F, Town Hall Annex Complex, the 20-bay garage. As explained to us, this money will come from an existing CIP fund. Representative Fox moved the number $380,000. It was seconded by Representative Good, and it passed unanimously 5-0 to 0. CIP 6I, the Spicer House Boathouse. This account was zeroed out. So Chair Dean Shimbrough moved $0. This was seconded by Representative Good and passed 5 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions. CIP 6K, golf course facilities, clubhouse. There was some debate about the golf course not being fully self-funded. It was explained that it is almost there and much better than in years past. Chair Dean Shimbrough moved the town council number of $30,000, which was seconded by Representative Fox, and it passed unanimously, 5 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions. CIP 6L, the leased buildings. It was noted that $60,000 of the requested money was for interior painting of the Groton Ambulance Building, which the Groton Ambulance Association and the town is not obligated to fund. Chair Dean Shimbrough moved the town council number of $60,000, which was seconded by Representative Fox and passed unanimously at 5-0 to 0. 6M, the police. Representative Good moved the town council number of $100,000, which was seconded by Dean Shimbrough, Representative Dean Shimbrough, and passed unanimously 5-0 to 0. CIP 6O for the golf course sprinkler system. Some of the money for this project will be coming from the CIP fund balance. Chair Dean Shimbrough moved the town council number of $280,000. This was seconded by Representative Fox and passed unanimously 5 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions. And then CIP 10 for Water Pollution Control Authority. A was the sewer line infrastructure repair. The money to fund this project comes from the sewer use fees. And Representative Good moved the town council number of $175,000, which was seconded by Chair Dean Shimbrough and passed unanimously at 5 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions. CIP 10B for the pump station. Representative Good moved the town council number of $300,000. This was seconded by Chair Dean Shimbrough and passed unanimously 5-0 to 0. And I believe the last one was 10C for the treatment facility. Chair Dean Shimbrough moved the town council number of $1.3 million. This was seconded by Representative Fox and passed unanimously 5 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions. And at the end of the meeting, there was a motion to adjourn by Representative Good, which was seconded by Chair Dean Shimbrough And it passed unanimously, 5-0, or 5 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions. So I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the Public Works Committee meeting.
All right, motion has been moved by Representative Gibbs, seconded by Representative Adams. Oh, DeGraffenreich, right, okay, welcome back. Okay, so we have 29 members present now. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Yes, Representative Good.
I believe the painting for the exterior of the ambulance building that we lease out, not the interior. That's the only thing I saw.
Oh,
Okay, so the minutes should reflect that it was actually the outside, not the inside, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so again, we
Good
could
catch.
just make that as a clerical, yes, okay. Yeah, we'll just change that for the minutes. So again, other than that, is there any other discussion on the minutes? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for a vote on the approval of the minutes of the Public Works Committee as presented tonight and previously for City of Groton and Groton Long Points accounts. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say no or raise your hand. All right. Motion carries unanimously. In the interest of efficient government here, I'd be willing to entertain a motion for all the CIPs that were discussed, and then we could discuss them. $4,679,000.
So moved.
All right, motion was moved by Good, seconded by DeGraffenreich, for all the total CIPs of 1, 2, 3, 6, and 10 as approved from the RTM Public Works Committee, $4,679,000. We also have Director Hanover here. If there's any discussions on any specific CIP that may tickle your fancy or ask a question or comment to, I see Representative Obrey has, you have the floor.
Could you tell me a little something about this pump station that you want over $1 million for?
Director Hanover, CIP 10B pump stations, and I believe Representative Gibbs had stated that this is coming directly from the fund for that account. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is paid 100% by the sewer user fees, and I think she's referring to 10C, which is the one that's 1.3 million. Is that correct? Yeah, that is the primary clarifier, which is at our treatment plant. The mechanism has failed on that. We have 2 of them, so we have one, we kind of swap them back and forth. So right now, we're just operating on one. If we lose that one, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So we need to get this repaired. And it's been in use since the plant opened in 1974. So I think it's served its useful life, and it's time to replace it.
Good idea. Can I ask a couple other questions?
Absolutely, you have the floor.
Thank you. How much do we have in the CIP account right now?
Town Manager Burt, do you have that info, or Director
Well,
of Finance? Yeah.
Going into the meetings, we had about 4.4. We were using, do you remember how much of that we had already planned to use? Yeah. Probably about half of it or so. Yeah, so
Roughly a couple
4.4 million and roughly half of it planned for usage this year.
Okay. Would I be correct in thinking that if more things happen, like what have already happened, like them taking money away from the school budget, and probably the grants will not be readily available, and a lot of other ways that we get money in Groton, what are you anticipating right now that we might lose?
Well, the only thing being talked about at the state level is a little over 1.1 million. I'm hopeful that won't happen this year. That's absorbable. We can figure that out. Though, one thing the town council did was Now, if we were funding things out of the CIP fund, those are, the bulk of that money actually came with, from state bond commission dollars, and they have to be spent on CIPs. They can't be moved over to the general fund. However, the town council, a lot of these items that are funded out of the general fund, the town council directed me to not spend certain ones. Then if they're not absolutely an emergency immediately, hold off to the end of the calendar year to see what happens, and then we would redivert, not spend those on CIPs, we'd have to redivert, because they are general fund dollars there that could be diverted. So basically not, we just wouldn't spend it, we'd use that money
Right.
with the Board of Ed.
So if things proceed like they seem to be in this country today, this wish list would probably be the first thing to go?
Well, again, the bulk, a good chunk of them, or half of them are already dedicated, they have to be spent on CIPs, so I don't know if we would do that, but and we have to keep up with roads, there'd be a chunk of them that we would divert. So.
Okay. Well, I must be the only one that thinks it's going to be a really tough road ahead, because very few people have talked and offered any changes in the numbers. And to myself, that's very disappointing, because I feel that that was our job, to go through here and find some things that could be changed. And I seem to be the only voice for that. So just say.
One thing to, we spend about $3.5 million a year on CIPs out of the general fund.
Yeah.
We're only spending 2.3 this year, so if you got that, that's a large jump up to the next year. It's 1.3 million just for the roads. So we have to spend a certain amount on CIPs, or else we really get in trouble.
Yeah.
But
I'm not-
believe me,
I'm
I'm working on plans for the worst case scenarios. So we'll
I'm-
do what we need to do.
And I do know that you do that, and I depend on you, and I'm very proud of what you do. But I just think it's very sad that we haven't been able to really dive into this and make more changes, because maybe God will reach down and make a big change, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. And I think we're going to be feeling some pain, and I think you're going to be sorry you didn't make some changes. Thank you very much.
Just one thing to bear in mind, with the general fund budget, we can pivot quickly. I can make changes at any point during the year, whereas we can't with subdivisions and the Board of Ed or in the outside. So we have control over this. I can make changes at any point when needed. So we will handle it if something happens.
Any other discussion on the main motion on the floor? Representative Norman?
Quick question. The golf course facilities that are included in this, is there a reason why we'd pull that from the general fund and not from the golf course fund?
Well, when I first arrived, we pretty much covered 100% of the CIPs for the golf fund 8 years ago. They've been building up, and they have been spending money on, they need to spend about $200,000 a year on the holes, which takes a good chunk of their money, which they are already, they're funding $207,000 towards the whole restoration this year. So facilities that aren't the main facility there, we tend to cover it, because we don't want to deplete the golf fund. And no one ever likes us spending money on the holes, so we tend to cover more of the buildings, because there's always argument over the holes. So,
But there is 1.1 million in the 2026 fund balance if they're spending 200,000. Just checking.
which also covers, I think originally how much did they ask for? They sometimes ask for up to $300,000 a year for the holes. We could do it, but, actually here, the RTM can't change the funding source. That can only be done by the council. It's either, it's included or cut here, but.
Okay.
Okay, so again, just to be clear for everyone here, we have a main motion on the floor for the accounts that we've discussed, CIPs 1 through 10. If there's a desire by anyone here to make adjustments or amend certain figures, we have that right under this current main motion. Is there any other discussion on the main motion on the floor? Very well. Seeing none, I'll call for a vote on the main motion of $4,679,000 for CIPs 1 through 10 as presented from the minutes of the RTM Public Works Committee. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Any abstentions? All right, motion passes 29-0. It's unanimous. All right, thank you very much. I think we need to take a brief recess for the rest of these accounts. Am I correct, or we don't have to? 1073, 1075, and 510? You've got all the numbers already? Outstanding. All right, let's take a quick recess. There's some pizza over there, and then I'm going to get the numbers from our Director of Finance so that we can follow this in order. All right, quick 10. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll recognize Finance Chair Powers. Oh, shucks, sorry. And want a hot mic. All right, we're back. We're back from recess. You got the time right?
6:49.
6:49, thank you. You need, no, you need this?
Perella's here.
Yeah, here, I'm sorry, I forgot to hand this to you.
Representative.
Perella's here, 30 in total.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. To continue on with the end of our budget session, we have 3 remaining categories. It's Finance Department is account 1073, contributions from other funds. It's found on page 168. There is account number 1075, the capital reserve contribution, found on page 197. And the final one is the capital reserve fund, found on 510, page 200. At this time, I'd like to move the total number of those 3 accounts. It's $10,924,330.
Second.
$330.
All right. Motion was moved by Chair Powers, seconded by Good. Main motion on the floor is for the last 3 accounts on our agenda. 1073, contributions to other funds, 1075, capital reserve contributions, and 5010, capital reserves. I open up the floor for discussion. Again, just for the folks that aren't aware, these are all the expenditures that we've approved throughout this whole process, and these are the number totals that we are now approving.
Would you like?
Yes, Representative Aubrey?
I have a question, but as usual, I'm not sure if it's appropriate. But with the seat buses, were there any changes made to where they're going to be coming this year?
I'm not necessarily sure this has to do with any of these accounts.
Well,
They are reworking on, they're looking at retooling a little bit, but on the east side of town, they have that hop service where you can call it in to get the mini transport. But there are some changes they're working on, but I don't think it's finalized yet.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect huge changes, but I do expect some.
Okay.
But I can get with you.
So maybe eventually it'll be town-wide?
I don't know how likely, they're doing the hop service, the van service for the east part. I don't know how likely they'll switch to full townwide unless we were willing to offset more.
Okay.
But it is something that comes up periodically though, but I'll take it. It's been a while since I've looked. I'll take a look at it.
I'm sorry, I guess my question was out of order, but I don't think.
It's okay, I'll allow a little leeway for you. You've been a longstanding community member and volunteer in this community for a long time. I don't think anybody will object.
Thank you. Well, the thing is that they have more available for people now, and I don't think a lot of people know that you can call, and they'll send a small vehicle to pick you up and take you where you need to go, over and above the bus lines that they have.
Understood.
So I think it's important that, especially the elderly, that they know that's available.
I'll make an effort and put that out there some more. I'll do that tomorrow.
I'll be quiet now. Maybe.
Never.
All right, any other discussion on the main motion on the floor for the last 3 accounts of the evening? Very well, seeing none, I'll call for a vote on $10,924,330. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Are there any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously, 30 to 0. We did get Representative Perella into the mix right at the very end. So that concludes our annual budget meeting, accounting for fiscal year 25-26. Before I entertain a motion to adjourn, I'd just like to again thank Town Manager Burt, Director of Finance, Ms. Morrison, our fantastic town clerk, all of her staff. Angelique, thank you. And the staff that isn't here, who do all the work to make sure we get our agendas and all that. Also, thank you to all the departments that did show up and come here for our annual budget meeting, and I'll turn it over to you right now.
Mr. Moderator, I'd just like to ask that we accept my minutes from my Finance Committee meetings and vote on it.
That's right. All right, motion was moved and seconded to approve Finance Chair RTM Committee minutes. Any discussion on those minutes? Very well. Seeing none. Oh, do you have a question on the minutes, Rep. Massett?
No, it's not
All
on the minute.
all right, let me hold off on that then. All those in favor of the minutes being approved, please say aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously 30-0. Representative Massett.
Just a quick observation. I understand where folks feel that we should go through the budget line by line. In order to do that, we need to come in with a particular mindset to go through the budget and cut $100,000 here, $100,000 there, is not really going to cut the budget enough to make a difference.
Rep.
So
Massett,
maybe
I'm
that's
sorry,
a
Representative
conversation we
Massett.
should have next year.
Yes, I would agree. We have plenty of, I was just going to say, this is kind of running far afield of what our task was this evening. However, every meeting, at a regular meeting, we have other business, we have budget discussion. If this is the desire of this group to do something to that nature, I'll see you in June, and we'll get started in having those discussions on what we want to see as a vision moving forward. Other than that, I'll call for an adjournment. All right, motion was made by Rep. Perella, seconded by Representative Burrill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I'd like to thank all of the Groton RTM for coming into these meetings, and we will see you on the second Wednesday in June for our regular June meeting that starts at 7 o'clock, so that, and we'll do caucus prior to that. Thank you.